Hello, Xylophoney here, and welcome back to How to Pixelmon, your instructional Pixelmon guide. Now today we're going to be going over some very advanced EV glitch training. So it's taking EV training, taking that to its furthest step, and then taking it another step further due to a glitch that I'd recently figured out in Pixelmon. So if you just take a Pokemon and train it off the proper things, say I'm trying to train it for attack and speed, then I'll use a power bracer and power anklet and train it off Raichus and stuff for speed and so on. Then that's how you do EV training. I've actually done an episode on that very long time ago. You can go back in the playlist and check that out if you don't know what EV training is. But today we're going to go over how to get things to their furthest point possible in Pixelmon, which is actually a little further than they can get in the Pokemon games themselves. So we're going to take a look at this Staraptor first. Staraptor has attack at 255, an HP stat at 4, and speed at 252. Now when it comes down to the EVs, each 4 EVs count for 1 stat that's added to the Pokemon. So if you have a 255 and a 252, it actually both counts as the same thing. They grant 63 of that stat. So this Staraptor will have an extra 63 attack, an extra 63 speed, and an extra 1 HP. So if you just train it like that, that is what you're going to end up seeing. Now if you look at this Miltank here, this is pretty much the same thing, but I looked at the total there, and that's where I kind of figured, what can I do to take this further? Because on a Miltank, obviously, I'd want to have, some extra stats besides just health and defense. Speed is great on a Miltank, attack is great on a Miltank. So how much extra can I get on this? So that's where we train this Kadabra here and got the maximum amount possible. We have 252 on the special attack, 252 on the speed, which are of course the 2 main stats we want to go with, and 12 on the HP. And look at that total down below. 516 out of 510, 101%. So you can actually go past that. And I of course had to do it with an Umbreon, another Pokemon that would certainly benefit from it. We got 252 HP, 252 defense, and 12 special defense, so we can have even further defense stats on an extremely tanky Pokemon. Now this tactic is going to be the most useful on Pokemon that are already pretty tanky, or Pokemon that want more than 2 stats. But it's a very fun thing. Now we're going to go over how this happens. So let's take a look at the Umbreon. Now of course 252 and 252, those together add up to 508, and the max for EVs is 510. So that automatically leaves a 2 extra. But in Pixelmon, when you get up to, say, well, precisely 509, and then you train on another Pokemon that yields greater value than 1, it'll actually surpass that, leaving the maximum at 7, because you can take it down a Pokemon that gives you 3 IVs with an item on you that also gives 4 IVs rather. So that'll make it so you can actually hit that 516 amount. Now when it comes down to it, with the 2 extra points that don't really go anywhere, plus the extra 6 stats you're getting, that gives you an extra 8 IVs, which grants you an extra 2 stat points. Now, 2 stat points is honestly not very important, but this is just a fun thing to do because it can actually mean you've EV trained your Pokemon further than is supposed to be possible. So to do that, we're going to use this Arcanine as an example. Now with Arcanine, of course, we're going to want physical attack and speed. So here we have the physical attack trained at 252, what we would want, and then we have speed starting to work on that. But the HP is probably the 3rd stat I'd want on it. So just like the model we used before, we're going to want to get that HP up. Now I actually developed an equation so you can kind of do this. Now we're going to start at the top and then simplify it going down. You take 510, the max amount of EVs possible, minus the first EVs that you want. So in Arcanine's example, that would be minus the attack EVs, and then you minus the extra EVs that you want, and then you minus 1. So specifically in Arcanine's example, it's going to be the 510 attack, so that'll be minus the attack, so that would be minus 252, so that would equal 258, minus the 12 that we plan to put into health, so that'll leave it at 256, and then minus 1, so we can have a little bit of breathing room, and that'll put it at 245, then we'll be 1 away from the yield, then we'll get the plus 7 stats, giving us that extra 6 over the limit. So we're gonna completely do that right now. So we put the health item on him. Of course, the power weight lets you train in health when you're EV training, and we're just gonna train on speed things right here. So we're gonna want to kill 3 things to get it plus 12. So let's go for 1, then 2, and then 3. And these Pokemon all have speed EVs, so we're not getting anything wrong on there. So now if we check the EVs on it, we have 12 HP. Alright, so now we're in the second step there. Now 245 is the number we want to get with that speed. Now we want to hit that number exactly dead on, so we don't end up going over it and we don't get stuck under it. Well, pretty much you just want to make sure you don't go over that, because that's as far as 99% goes. That's reaching 509. So we're going to kill a couple things here. Let's take one out with close combat here. Now let's check out our EVs on our Arcanine. So we're at 234. Now remember, we want to hit 245. So that means we're going to need to hit an odd number target. So Raichu's give 3. So that would be an excellent choice. Alright. So now our EVs are at 241. So now we just need 4 more. So just to be safe, I'm just going to go for 2 more Pokemon that give 2 speed EVs. And make sure we do this right. Now, I'm not 100% positive, but I know Servines are definitely 2 speed. So we'll take down the 1. Alright, double check on our EVs, just because we don't want to mess it up. There we go. Now we are at 507 out of 510. Let's get that extra 2. Close combat. Alright, and now we are at 509 out of 510. And now we are pretty much at the limit nearly. Here's where the magic is going to happen. So we're going to want to get an extra 7 points into our speed. So we're going to go with a power anklet here, and then go for a Pokemon that we know gives 3. So there's a Raichu. This is going to be the maximum amount of EVs I can gain from one individual fight. So let's go for a nice little Flare Blitz. There we go, and we've completed the EV training on our Arcanine. Let's see if that worked. And there we go, 101% once again. Now this gets us to the 252 attack and the 252 speed that we wanted to reach. But it also gives us that extra 12 HP. Now normally in competitive EV training you're going to want an extra 4 stats in there, but due to the glitch in Pixelmon we can get it to an extra 12. So that'll be an additional 2 stats on top of that. So that's pretty much as good as you can get things. It's pretty fun that you can actually hit 101%. Now obviously this is very effective on Pokemon that you want to get, mixed EVs on and stuff like that. But when it comes down to it, guys, it's only an extra 2 stats that you get from these EVs. But that is how you pretty much make an even better than perfect Pokemon. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this little sneaky little episode explaining this glitch to you. If you have enjoyed it, definitely show some appreciation on the video. Leave comments on if you're going to be doing this or if not, and let me know what other things you want me to go over in How to Pixelmon. So I'll see you next time. Have a wonderful day and goodbye.